Hello and welcome to the Seymour Rosie channel. My name is Dave and this is my wife Vicki, and we started our RV adventures in 2020. 2023 and 2025 we went to Alaska, but in 2026 we're traveling to Idaho to visit our grandson and to look around the Gem State and also Big Sky country of Montana. Welcome to the channel. Hope you enjoy the videos. It is Tuesday afternoon, the 9th of June. Vicki and I are on the road again, westbound, heading for Idaho and Montana. Hopefully be at Plummer at our grandson's house by the 17th of this month, and looking forward to it. We're only about an hour away from our first campground here this evening. We've made it through Pennsylvania and West Virginia, soon to hit Ohio. Traffic hasn't been too bad. Roads haven't been too bad. The weather's 82 degrees and cloudy. Had a couple of light showers, real light showers. And been a pretty good day so far, hasn't it, Vicki?
What did you?
I said, hasn't it been a pretty good day so far?
It has. It's been very pleasant.
Looking forward to this trip very much. And of course, Vicki's looking forward to escape the 90 degrees that's coming to Pennsylvania. But we're going to be driving through some 90-degree temperatures before we get there, and hopefully when we get to Idaho it won't be like it was in 2022 when we had, or 23, whichever year it was, when we had 107 degrees in Spokane, Washington. Anyhow, we'll catch up with you later. Well, it's about 24 hours since my last report. It's 4:11 in the afternoon Eastern time. We're heading for Illinois in the campground. The road has flattened out quite a bit from the last time, and it's gotten hotter. It's 92 degrees outside, but it's been not a bad day traveling. A lot of construction, as you can see the other way. They just ought to put a sign up, entire state of Indiana under road construction. And it desperately needs it. So that's the report for the 10th of June. All right, folks. It's the 11th of June, 11:54 in the morning Central Time. We're westbound on Interstate 74 out of Peoria, heading to Davenport, Iowa. And as you can see, it's raining pretty good. The worst of the storm, though, thankfully, is to our south. If we look to the north, we can see lighter. But boy, if you look to the south, I'm glad we're not down there. I'm glad we're here. There is a possibility of severe weather today here in this area, including tornadoes. So we count our blessings. It was right after the rainstorm. We got into good weather heading west in Iowa when we were following a vehicle, and I don't have any video of it, but it almost looked like balloons on the back of on the roof of the car. And it was a car, it wasn't a pickup truck, and it looked like a surfboard sticking out the passenger side. And I asked Vicki, and she sort of thought it looked like the same thing. And about that time, that surfboard, which wasn't a surfboard, came off the vehicle, hit the shoulder, and bounced right in front of me. I looked to my left and could not move the passing lane. I had a car coming alongside of me, and we hit it. The whole car, the whole truck jumped, and we pulled over to the side of the road, and I couldn't find anything wrong. Looked underneath it, everything else. So we continued on our way. It wasn't too long after that that Vicki noticed that on the tire pressure monitor system for the trailer, the passenger tire, rear passenger tire, was leaking a little bit of air. And as we were discussing that, all of a sudden we heard a pop. It sounded like the tire blew. And I pulled off the side of the road and again checked the pressure in all 8 tires, the 4 on the trailer and the 4 on the truck, and everything looked great. So we tried to go up the road again and soon discovered that it wasn't anything wrong with the tires. What blew was something on the truck, on the engine. So I pulled over, popped the hood, and immediately looked at the turbocharger, the downpipe coming out of the turbocharger going to the intercooler, and saw that the hose had blown off the bottom. Knew I wasn't going to put it on there alongside Interstate 80. So we managed to limp up the road a couple miles, flat to the floor, 45-mile-an-hour was all I could do with it. And we got off at the next exit, and there was a nice place to pull over, and I was able to figure out how to put that hose back on. And in the meantime, a very nice gentleman stopped by and asked if I had the tools I needed, and I said yes, I believe I did. So we put that, I got it back together, and I decided that instead of going back on the interstate highway, there was a road that paralleled the interstate there, and we were going to take that, and made it about a quarter mile, and the pipe blew apart again. So we turned around and went back, and there was a particular spot for park and share ride, people to park their cars to share rides with other people. And I'll put a picture of that here on the video. We parked at that spot that has a P on the picture there on the video, and I opened the hood, and in the meantime, Tommy Hassler, I had called Hassler Diesel there in Bethel, Pennsylvania. Shout out to Tommy. He called back and said, what you want to do is clean up that hose, and he advised brake clean. I didn't have brake clean. I thought I had contact cleaner, didn't have that, so I used isopropyl alcohol, and use hairspray after you clean it on both ends of the pipe and put it together. And we did that, and spent the night there because it was already getting dark. The next morning, that gentleman who had stopped by and offered tools stopped by, and I told him what I did, and I'm ready to roll. And he said the best 6-liter mechanic in the local area was Central Iowa Diesel. So we went to Central Iowa Diesel. And the man at Central Iowa Diesel was so nice, but he did not have a new part. He checked to see if he had a used part that he could give me, and he found the opposite end, the end for the pipe for the turbo, and he gave me that free of charge, a used one. And then I asked him if there was a good place to get a tire fixed, because you remember I told you I had a tire leaking on the trailer. And he said, yeah, right across the street is I-80 trailer, and that's where we went, and they fixed the tire very nice for us. We left Central Iowa Diesel area and headed west on I-80 and caught US Route 20, which is a road I absolutely love. It's a 2-lane road. You got to slow down a little bit for small towns, but there's not a whole lot of traffic. It's straight. It's smoother than the interstate. It's just a nice, pleasant drive. And on that drive west through Iowa, we had 2 tractor-trailer cattle trucks pass us, and normally those guys do not drive slow. They have the hammer down, and they push more wind out in front of them than any type of rig that I have experienced. And when the first rig went by us, the truck buffeted and the cat jumped, and then it sounded like a limb hit the top of the truck. And I didn't understand it. And the further up the road we went, the more I heard things, and it sounded like branches on the top of or a bird on the roof of the truck. So I stopped, pulled over, and found out that the rubber seal around the window had split when that truck went by us. So I used heat duct tape. Vicky said we looked like the Clampetts going up the road with the truck heat duct tape together. So we made it that day to Cody, Nebraska. Spent the night, got up the next morning, fueled the truck, and headed west. Made it about 30 miles, and it came apart. That turbo pipe came apart again. And I repaired it once again, only this time I think I did a little better job than the first time, and getting experience at it. And headed west and then north towards South Dakota, and we entered this little town, and the little town's name was Martin, South Dakota. And as we entered it, I saw this auto parts store alongside the road. and immediately stopped. In fact, I had to pull back up a little bit to be able to get in the driveway, and went in and asked them if they had that hose, that short 3-inch hose that I needed for the turbocharger pipe, because Tommy Hassler had advised I get a new one just in case. They did not have one, didn't have any available. And I went back out the truck, and Vicky had been in communication with somebody. I failed to mention that while in Cody, we tried to give the cat a bath, and that didn't work very well. Cat did not like a bath, and she bit Vicky on the back of the hand. While I was in the auto parts store, Vicky was in conversation with 2 friends of hers, one an RN and one a lady who groomed pets for many years, and both said, you need that check. So I went back in, talked to the same nice lady behind the counter at the auto parts store, and she said half-mile up the road is a hospital which has an ER, and I show a picture. The orange door on that picture is the entrance to the ER. So we went in, and Vicky was able to get treated, they gave her some pills until we could get to a pharmacy to get antibiotic prescription filled, and we were able to continue on our way. We made it that night to Buffalo, Wyoming, to one of our favorite campsites, and I am now recording this to you here on my grandson's porch near Plummer, Idaho. But on the way to Plummer that afternoon, we witnessed a very tragic accident. As we were driving along, we were following an older Toyota pickup truck, and I mean early 2000s. And when he passed me, I noticed that he was full of all kind of carpenter tools, ladders, and who knows what all on the back of his pickup truck. It was loaded pretty well. And a motorcyclist who also witnessed the accident said that he believed that the man fell asleep because he slowed down and drifted off the highway. The motorcyclist was immediately alongside of him when the accident happened. I was back a little bit, and out of the corner, I was looking to my right shoulder at a way station. In the corner of my eye, I saw something, and I looked over, and the pickup truck had gone down in a little ravine, which I'll show you a video here in a minute. He went down in that ravine, and you can see there the scuff mark on the bank where it come up for a crossover. And when he hit that, the front of his truck went way up in the air. There was a 4x4 post there with a road sign on it. It hit that, and it sent it even further in the air, and the truck flipped end over end, front end over back end, and landed on its roof, and parts and stuff were flying everywhere. I immediately pulled over, and I was able to pull over directly opposite the accident. Vicky got out and went over to the scene to see if she could offer any assistance. All kind of motorists were stopping, and guys tearing the doors open on the truck trying to see if the gentleman was alive. He was breathing then, but he did pass away. And it was a very tragic accident, and we saw how quick that you can go from this life to eternity, because the gentleman most likely fell asleep. Many other things happened on this trip. I had a pump go bad in the coach. We had to get the windshield replaced. We did get the part shipped here from Rock Auto to Hunter's house and was able to install that, so hopefully we're good to go there. The cat going to probably need to see a vet again when we get back home. There's just one thing after another. But one thing for sure that we learned, and we knew already, but you never know when your time on this earth is over. That gentleman driving that Toyota pickup truck was on his way home from work. Had no idea that he was not going to make it home that day, that he was going to go to meet his maker. So I want to take this opportunity to share the good news of Jesus with everybody out there that might happen to watch. That Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. So urge you all to search out, if you do not know how, search out a pastor of a local Bible teaching church. and ask Him about knowing where you will be when that time comes where your life here on earth ends. Thank you. Hope you like this video. Catch you on the next one.